In the US, going to college has long led to higher wages on average, and the 20th century expansion of higher education played a key role in reducing inequality. But is college still an engine of social mobility? In recent decades, the large average return to going to college has masked striking changes in the relative returns received by higher and lower income students. This figure shows the difference in average wages between high school graduates who complete at least 1 year of college and those who do not, sorted by their parents' income. For students born in the 1900s, the college-going wage premium was very similar for those born to higher and lower income parents. But by the 1980s, the wage premium had shrunk for lower income students, while growing larger for higher income students. The authors dubbed this the rise of college regressivity. Starting in the 1950s, higher income students have increasingly derived greater economic value from going to college than their lower income peers, and today, students from the bottom parental income tercile earn less than half the enrollment wage premium received by top tercile students. This paper investigates the causes behind rising college regressivity. Why have the labor market returns to college become positively correlated with income? To answer this, the authors compiled dozens of survey and administrative datasets spanning the 20th and 21st centuries. They show that the rise of regressivity does not align with many of the well-known changes that have occurred in American higher education since the 1950s. For example, while enrollment expanded dramatically over this period, the pattern of post-World War II expansion and Vietnam-era stagnation does not align with the steady growth of regressivity since the 1960s. And while tuition exploded between 1980 and 2010, this trend lags the onset of college regressivity by 2 decades. Instead, regressivity is linked to 3 key factors. First is the growing stratification between collegiate institutions. Lower and higher income students enroll at different kinds of colleges and universities, and changes in the economic values of these institutions have contributed to the rise of regressivity. To show this, the paper estimates institutional value added. These are measures of the wage premium associated with individual institutions after accounting for differences in student characteristics. The authors measure value added in 1963 and in 1996, and they find substantial changes in value added over this period. The correlation between mid and late 20th century value added is only 0.23, and there are clear patterns by institutional type. Private and research-oriented public universities saw the largest gains in value added, alongside improvements in other measures of quality, such as revenues and expenditures per student. These institutions also disproportionately enroll higher income students. On the other hand, the teaching-oriented public universities where lower-income students tend to enroll had similar measures of quality to research-oriented public universities in the 1960s, but have since steadily deteriorated. These divergent trends have led to a much tighter link between parental income and institutional value added. In 1963, there was very little institutional stratification by income, but by 1996, the distribution of value added for universities in the top income tercile had shifted substantially upwards. The impact of these changes in institutional value has also been compounded by low-income students' disproportionate migration out of the traditional four-year sector. Low-income students have benefited from broader access to high-quality universities since the 1980s, but these gains have been dwarfed by their simultaneously rising diversion into 2-year and for-profit colleges, both of which have persistently low measures of institutional quality. While around 70% of low-income college-goers in the 1960s enrolled at four-year universities, today that number is only 50%. These two institutional factors each explain about 1/4 of the growth in college regressivity since the 1950s. Finally, the third factor is choice of major. This figure plots the average wage premium associated with the 6 most popular disciplines spanning the 20th century. Even as the overall college wage premium has fluctuated over time, the relative ranking across majors has been remarkably constant. Humanities rank at the bottom, while engineering and business majors earn the highest wages. Through the middle and end of the 20th century, students from higher and lower income backgrounds declared majors with similar economic value, but since 2000, cross-discipline stratification has sharply increased. This is driven by higher income students' net exodus out of the humanities and into computer science and other engineering fields, which now commonly restrict access to their majors via academic requirements that disproportionately exclude lower income students. While those in the bottom income tercile declared similar value majors to their top tercile peers in the 1980s and 1990s, today they declare majors that annually pay about 4 percentage points less. This third factor explains another quarter of the growth in college regressivity. Thus, this paper shows that while American universities have provided college-goers with high average wage premiums for over a century, those gains are no longer equally shared by higher and lower income students. In fact, the authors estimate that the share of all intergenerational income transmission that can be explained by the differential return to going to college has increased from 0% in the 1950s to 25% today. Rather than serving as an engine for social mobility, college increasingly cements the existing order. But there is scope for change. The relative returns to college going were similar for decades before 1960, and the frequency of major policy changes in American higher education suggests that future work may be able to ameliorate some of the factors contributing to regressivity. To read more on this topic, you can check out the paper's references to other related work. This includes research on the returns to college, including estimates of institution and major-specific wage premiums, and the broader relationship between education, inequality, and economic mobility.